No positives tonight. Absolutely no positives. This was by far one of the worst performances we've put in again under Nuno. That was equally as bad as West Ham, I think, in my opinion. We set up for a 0-0 from the get-go. There was no striker. We had no striker on the pitch. I know we're a striker down, Jimenez, but we've got Fabio Silva. He needs to start.
Evening fancast, Ollie here. Liverpool 4, Wolves 0. Just absolute shambles tonight. It was hard to watch. First of all, I don't know why I wore that kit. get our old goal back on. I just think we look less of a shit show in our old goal than that away kit.
Hey, after the Liverpool Wolves game, I was disappointed with our performance, obviously, with the 4-0 loss. I don't think a single player performed well. You can blame the first goal on Connor Cody, but I don't think it's worth blaming him for the entire game because it was just, our whole performance was terrible, and we posed no threat in the final third because we didn't have any experienced strikers up there. Podence did fine, but just not enough to really get any attacking power into the game. And hopefully we can come back stronger next week against Aston Villa and grab some 3 points.
Disappointing result tonight, 4-0. What can you say? It's hard to lose 4-0 to any team. I suppose, at least it was the champions. Very, very clinical from Liverpool, It shows why they are where they are and they're doing what they're doing. But I'm not even massively disappointed with Wolves. We knew when we were going to be playing this formation, we knew that we were going to be letting ourselves, opening ourselves up at the back, especially against teams like Liverpool who can break on the counter that well. And, I thought we looked good to start. I really do. We created a few chances. Podence looked as good as he always does early on. And, I don't think we were playing bad at all. But I think after the Cody mistake, which, come on, Cody, you got to head of that ball. But, it happens. It really does. I think after the mistake from Cody, we sort of just couldn't really get out of that first gear then. And I think Liverpool, again, like I said, clinical, just did what they needed to do, finished us off. And we need to work on things, we really do, if we're going to be continuing with this formation. But going up against the champions, I never really expect much, But 4-0, never nice. But we go again. Up the wafflers, eh? Let's keep it up.
Hi guys, disappointing night. Defensively, I think we really, really struggled. Even though we like the new formation, I think maybe next week especially we might have to go back to a 3-4-3. I thought Cody obviously struggled tonight. We saw him very similarly when we saw him in the West Ham game make mistakes and have problems. It's very unlike him, so we can't really blame him. But I do feel like we need to go back to a 3-4-3. I thought Semedo really struggled to get back and defend. We didn't really have so much of a problem with obviously Doherty. So I think maybe we need to be obviously addressing that in the training. I thought Moutinho had a good game and linked up the ball well with other players. I really like the look of Vitania when he came on. He looked really good moving forward. Ryan Nori as well, even though he's obviously a youth, looked really good. Fabio was getting pushed around a bit. Obviously needs to build up on his size a bit more to make him obviously stronger going forward. Podence looked good in the beginning with some of his shots on target, but always seems to be recently going off second half and losing a bit of form. Hence why he got subbed off. I feel like we definitely do need to look at loaning someone potentially in January. I think maybe someone like Paulinho from Braga or linked to Gomez from Valencia, something like that would be perfect. Obviously, we don't know how long Raul's going to be out for. We've been told 3 months, but we all know that it could be a lot longer than that, maybe even double. We've seen cases up to 6 months. So we are really struggling in that retrospect.
I thought from the outset we set up wrong. I think to go with the back four against the champions away from home is a risk. I know fans are calling for it, and maybe I was one of them at one point, but it didn't take long to see that we needed an extra man back there because they started to have a huge amount of possession and just controlled it early on. One thing we've got to do against the big teams is take our chances. Traore broke away down the right in the first half and overhit his cross to Neto. Pedente's deft touch, his his lob was fantastic. Good save by the keeper, but again, disappointing. I just thought they were there for the taking tonight, looking at that lineup. I know they've been unbeaten in 60-odd games at home, and maybe naively, I think that I thought Wolves could do it. But tonight we were way off it. Semedo, defensively, shambles. He misjudged the flight of every ball. Robertson had a field day down the left. Cody's error was one we're not used to, but it happened. He had a bad night. Bolly defended okay, but his distribution was pretty poor. I thought Marcel was solid down the left. I like him at left back. I think we've got something to work with there. The front three, we need a number 9 for them to play off, and that number 9, I don't think is Fabio Silva, although I think he would have done okay if he was in from the start, and it would have been something we're a bit more used to. And again, I say it every week, I'm not sure Neves and Moutinho can sit in the same team. One of them with Dendoncker and let the rest of the team be built around that. But, it's a tough evening, really disappointing. It's not an embarrassment to get beaten by Liverpool, but it was a bit of an embarrassment to put on a performance like that. What a terrible way to start the week. Villa next week, we have to improve. I'm sure Nuno will demand more out of them, but want to move on from very quickly, I think, and look forward. We've still made the best start to a Premier League season ever.
So how do you sum up a game against one of the best teams in the world right now? For the first 20-odd minutes, we made a decent fist of it and looked like we were going to take the match to them. Tested their keeper early doors with a delightful chip from Pedence, and then it was all downhill from there. Really sloppy mistake from Cody. Probably the first since his last sloppy mistake against Liverpool in January. And then just a complete second half collapse. It was disappointing. I'm not sure we were ever in line to really win the game, but I do feel that we let ourselves down, if I'm being brutally honest.
You set up with the back 4 and 3 in midfield. That is 7 behind the ball. The other 3 are there to run the channels and possibly get on the break, but there's nobody there in the box to finish. Fabio Silva needs a run in the team now, in my opinion. He's a striker. He should know what he's doing. If we have another pizza pasta man, and so be it, we have another pizza pasta man, but we've spent 35 million on a pizza pasta man instead of being able to just ship him off. But that was poor. That was very poor. That was probably one of the shittest performances we've put against Liverpool in years, since we were last in the Prem. Very, very poor tonight.
When playing against the champions, you can't make the mistake that Conor Cody did. Unfortunately, he didn't even leave it for the goalkeeper, which I think was possible for him to do. I thought we had a good 21st minutes, but you're pretty much starting the game against a 19-year-old goalkeeper. It should have been a shoot on side policy. Apart from Podence, we didn't test him. Neves couldn't get his free kick on target. Adama, when he got into that position on the right, he should have hit it at the near post. Moving forwards, even with the penalty, Conor Cody's got to be a bit more streetwise. Maybe run into Mane's leg, feel the contact, then fall over. I know he was trying to do his best to bring us back into the game, but we've got VAR there now. We need to be more streetwise. Dendoncker and Neves way too slow in terms of their passing. Every time they get the ball, they touch it. There's not a quick enough distribution, left or right. It needs to be much more confident in their ability, really. Talking about Donker's ability, his heading ability has been shocking. I've noticed it for a couple of games now. Against Arsenal as well, okay, he hit the bar, he had conviction in that header, but he also, softly hit a header at Leno that game. Today he's continuously done the same things with his heading ability, not good enough. I don't know why we keep persisting with short corners. We've got Dendoncker in there, we've got Bolly in there. We should be aiming for these big guys that can score goals. Going into January, we need a striker if we're not going to trust Fabio Silva. After last week's performance, I thought he deserved a little start today. We could have taken the game to Liverpool. We had the belief, we had the confidence coming in from the game. And again, we needed a shoot on sight policy and a striker to give that here. We've really got to bring ourselves up from this 4-0 defeat. We've got Villa at home next week, and we've got to quickly look to turn this around.
Liverpool 4, Wolves 0. Frustrating, disappointing. First 30 minutes looked okay. Liverpool didn't cause us too much trouble. We looked quite dangerous when we was attacking going forward. I thought Neto in particular for the first 30 minutes looked good. Cody slipped, changed the game. Sloppy goal to give away. And when you're at Anfield 1-0 down, it's always an uphill battle. I think not playing Silva in that formation has killed us. No focal point up front. Pedence down the middle. It's not going to work, is it? So I think that didn't help. Once Liverpool go 2-0 up, it's game over at Anfield, isn't it? So on to the next one now. Disappointing performance. I think that there needs to be some tweaks to the starting 11 for the next one. Villa at home. I'd keep 4 at the back, and I think we can get something. I think we'll beat Villa. So on to the next one. Put this one behind us now. Disappointing, frustrating.
Disappointing for Wolves tonight. 4-0 against the champions. All week we've asked Nuno to go bareback against this Liverpool side with mass injuries. You can't knock them, lads. We all wanted Wolves to go 4 at the back and go and just have a slugfest with them and just hope we outscored them. And when you can see the goals the way we did, the scoreline might be unflattering, but that's why they're the champions. They took their chances, and with no focal point up front, and when you have the difference of Gini Wijnaldum, who scores a goal like that, and Neves, who's just basically we've had to carry him today, playing him in a position where he's not used to, trying to get him to be more effective in the final third when he's more of a deep line centre midfielder. It's disappointing. 4-0 against anyone is a harsh scoreline, but I still think we need to stick with the back 4, let it bed in a bit further. Hopefully upgrade a few players in January and then go from there. We've got a big game against Villa on Saturday. And we need to start picking up points again, unfortunately. We're only 4 points off the top 4, but you need to start picking up points before you're looking over your shoulder. We need to have a look at our goal difference, which is becoming slightly unnerving now. But yeah, just one of those nights, lads. Don't be too hard on them. Just be a bit more reflective. We were decent in periods of that game today, but that final third and having no focal point, having no Raul up front when you're knocking crosses into the box and you've got no height, it is one of them, lads. Don't worry about it. We go again. Bring on the Villa. Up the Wolves.